He tries to enter the beginner's village just like everyone else. But then the system goes crazy. Red warnings and error messages appear everywhere. It says he skipped proper procedures and gained levels abnormally. The system automatically resets his entire 99 levels. He panics. He screams like crazy because 20 years of hellish grinding are being erased in a matter of seconds. When everything calms down, he opens the status window. The stats are still insane. Every stat is at 99 except luck. Only level. He's reset to level 1. Some skills are locked. Special items are unusable, but he doesn't care. With stats like these, it's easy to level up again. For him, it's still a win. He opens the map and sets his destination. Beginner starting village. Heroes. Now the question is, why was his level so high? 20 years ago, when he was just a little kid, wandering around the Adventurer Academy, a crazy old man picked him up, kidnapped him without a second thought, just because he thought the kid was a genius. That old man's power. He was obsessed with Han and made the child his personal project. No mercy, no rest. Daily, brutal, soul-crushing training, push-ups. That too with the old man sitting on his back. Endless punishment and lectures on stat levels. One day Han tells him that the world's top ranker is level 89. The old man laughs and calls him pathetic. For him, anything below level 99 doesn't matter. Whenever Han doubts, he gets punched in the head and the training increases. 10 years pass. Then BC Han is in the same hell ever. He can't understand why he doesn't just delete his character and quit. Finally, the old man says he's taught him everything, and now he can die without regrets. Anakli becomes filial son. He hopes that a quest will trigger when the NPC dies. Indeed, it does. The old man gives him the location related to his fate, releases a terrifying aura, and dies. Thus, Han finally completes his 20-year nightmare training. Now, reset to the present and level 1, he successfully enters the beginner's village. Han steps into Urkis. He holds his hand and realizes that 2 decades have passed. His gaze wanders to the plaza where he used to roam as a child. Merchants are selling their wares. People are sitting and eating. There's a buzz of life everywhere. This peaceful atmosphere fills him with nostalgia. He realizes how much he missed it. He truly feels good being back here. Without wasting any time, he heads toward the west gate to go to the hunting grounds. But a guard at the gate stops him and asks what his level is. Han tells him he's level 1, even though he's 26. The guard is Sun Ra. He goes. Thinking he's a newcomer, he advises him to go through the east gate. The guard explains that the west side is too dangerous for level 1. Han asks if the area is restricted. The guard denies it. He simply says that on level 1, he wouldn't even stand a chance against Fang Rabbit. The guard repeatedly suggests training on the east side. But Han, with a cocky grin, moves on. The guard comes inside. He understands that this boy won't listen. He thinks he'll respawn after dying. Just then, Quest Prop appears in the system and Han. He realizes the guard is just worried about him. After accepting the quest, he decides to put on a little show. He casually waves. Just then, a fanged rabbit lunges at him. The guard yells to dodge, but Han blows it away with one punch and gains X. The guard freezes in shock. He wonders what he just saw. Is this the same level 1 guy? Han nods and confirms, thinking the guards can sense player levels. The guard says he can detect levels. But still, it's unbelievable. He starts asking what crazy trick this guy is using. Han just grins like an idiot, deciding to keep his secret to himself. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, an enraged boar charges straight toward them. The guard's face turns pale, and he yells at him to back off. But Han doesn't panic at all. He smugly smiles as if to say, "Don't worry." The guard knows the beast is no joke, but Han doesn't care about his warnings. He plunges his fist straight into the boar. He instantly destroys it and gains another level up. The guard stares in disbelief. His mind refuses to believe a total beginner could do such a thing. He mutters, Han must be crazy. Now everything is clear. Han pockets the 300 gold he earned from that laughably easy quest. He finds it quite satisfying. His actual stats are comfortably sitting at 99. He figures he'll look into the details later. For now, his target is the higher level hunting grounds. A faint whine escapes his mouth as he walks. He laughs. It's as if his life has finally come out of hell. After 20 brutal years, his hard work is finally paying off. He hopes everything will go smoothly now. But just a few days later, he gets caught up in a ridiculous mess. His eyes narrow, and he thinks, what the hell is this shit? A system notification flashes before him, stating that he has committed murder. The chaos system activates, giving him a killer's mark, literally visible to everyone. Over the past few days, he's been involved in random incidents. He goes into what turns into endless misunderstandings. Suddenly, NPCs appear from all sides and start attacking him. Everyone thinks he's a criminal with a big headband. Only then does he understand. This is all because of his minus 99 luck stat. His luck is so bad that every NPC confidently assumes he's the culprit. An NPC attacks him from behind. Instinctively, he counters and kills them instantly. He's not interested in killing anyone. He's just saving his life. But the system treats him like Max Caddick. He puts him in the status and slaps him with numerous penalties. Now not only NPCs, but players too are after him. They chase him and shout at him. They call him Get Rock, an infamous serial killer. Han runs through the streets, unable to understand why he's being called that. Killing a chaotic user grants hero status. So every Von hero wants to kill him. Eventually, he's cornered. Players surround him and tell him to surrender. But he doesn't even think about giving up. He turns around. His eyes are cold and dangerous. Without warning, a massive blast tears through the air, wiping out all the players in an instant. He feels no guilt. He's just surviving. Then he hides so no one can track him. At least those idiots have leveled him up. 2 weeks later, hiding in the woods, he checks his max chaotic penalty status. He'll have to stay low for at least a year. He thinks if he has to be a villain, he'll be a villain who lives comfortably. He discards the idea of becoming a hero. Then a thought comes to his mind. After 20 years of brutal suffering, the system throws him into this very Karamna's Kanar. He's convinced Juice is involved. The next morning, he wakes up to a strange sight. Several men kneeling before him. Then comes the system notification, SS Class Quest. The system officially recognizes him as the absolute ruler of Sky Devil without question. SS Class quests are the highest of all quests known to humans. They've appeared only 3 times in Olympus's 200-year history. With stakes so high, it's inevitable that the main storyline of the SSS Class quest always unfolds at the national level or higher. Han hesitates. He wonders why this has to happen to him. When he sees every NPC bowing down as if they've been waiting for him their entire lives, he realizes he's caught up in a much bigger story. A story that Juice has been quietly weaving around him for the past 20 years. Han begins reading some history that mentions 7,000 years of chaos. After the war ended, harmony returned and the world was divided into 3 forces. It was divided. The most notorious of these was Chentenia, whose absolute ruler was Gracia Mentos. He had 14 wives. His 7th wife bore a son, who later fathered another son. This story continued from generation to generation. Seeing the elders bowing their heads before him, Hans realizes he cannot skip it. To do so would be disrespectful, so he continues reading. He learns about Chera, the supreme ruler of that era, who gradually rose to power. Chera had taken devil's blood and became the most powerful, and he had become ruthless. It was written that all the heroes of the world feared him, but during a rebellion, he was defeated by a honey trap. Not killed, just defeated. After that, Shira went into a cave and started regaining his strength. Then Han realized that his own old master is a direct descendant of this Shira. The system continues to guide him, showing him the steps to complete the quest. Han thinks he should head toward Seoul. He turns to the elders and asks if they are really Skyville elders. Their leader bangs his head on the ground. He says, yes, they are Skyville elders, and thanks Han for recognizing him. But the truth is, Han just wants to get rid of this ridiculous quest. He's never even heard of them. Han lies, saying his teacher told him he had to lead the Skyville elders and restore the glory of old Skyville to the entire continent. The elders begin to cry, bowing their heads in joy. Han realizes that these 7 elders are now completely loyal to him. He orders one of them to come forward. He gives in. The elder gets up and reveals that he has already eliminated all the insect-like bastards who were lurking nearby to kill Han. As Han joins the elders, his body glows and he instantly reaches level 9. Han wonders how many dangerous enemies these elders must have fought before. He asks one elder his name. The old man replies that his name is Luxo and that he is the first elder. Han says they have to do something. Luxo bows and asks for orders. Han explains that he's currently bound by a special restriction. Even though he's followed his master's advice, he can't use his master's skills. His mind remembers everything, but his body won't. The elder nods. He says he had an idea. He reassures us all. He says he's the absolute ruler and will lead the elders to where the sun shines. The elders begin to prepare themselves and call Han their lord. The system notifies that Sky Devil's loyalty has increased. Han grunts and heads toward his destination. He decides to move on. Outside the game, in the real world, Han goes to the kitchen to get coffee and runs into his sister, Han Si. Han Si explains that her alliance has done well completing quests this time. However, a serial killer named Gate Rock is lurking on the outskirts of Chentenia. Han pretends to be unaware, but he is the killer. His sister explains that the killer uses dual pistols and is around level 4. She's heard that he can single-handedly defeat a 7-member party. She says that if anyone catches him, the reward is 3 million. It's gold. Han finds this strange. He remembers that the actual amount is 1 million. When he asks, Hansi embarrassedly says that her union gives them a lot of perks. But Han secretly thinks that's complete trash. He and his friends do all the hard work. His sister laughs it off and says that if he ever gets that reward, she'll treat Han to a barbecue. Han thanks her and decides to log back in. Back on Olympus, Luxo tells him that someone is following them. Han says they should first find out who it is. He's in the game. He tries to text his sister, but she's on a completely different continent, so the message doesn't go through. This freaks her out. Suddenly, a shadow slithers behind Han. The real Gate Rock stands in front of him, calling him a bastard impersonator. Han is confused at first, but when he sees 2 pistols in his hands, he realizes it's the notorious wanted criminal. The man is furious at Han and says he'll pay with his life for impersonating him. Han thinks to himself, he's glad he learned about this guy from his sister. Even though his stats are good, the guy in front of him is still a level wide. Han wonders what it would be like to fight an enemy with a 30-level gap. A dangerous smile comes to his face, and he remembers he's not alone. He summons Luxo, the first elder, and Luxo appears in an instant. Criminal's son is stunned. He's at a loss as to where this old man came from and can't even locate him. Han gives the command to kill him. Gate Rock confidently declares that he can kill both of them. He'll kill him. But Luxo is so fast that he disappears. Before Gate Rock can react, his head has fallen to the ground. Luxo calmly sheathes his sword, and Han stands there, completely shocked. Han remembers that Gate Rock was considered at least level 44. Now he wonders if Luxo is that powerful, or if the criminal wasn't as strong as he thought. Han feels a little ashamed that he couldn't even see Luxo's movement, but he's confident that if he had his eyesight skills, he would have been able to do it. So he could read Maniflow. The old man gives him the criminal's severed head, and the system rewards him with 100 million gold, along with experience points. Halder, rewarded for eliminating the infamous serial killer, admires how much things have changed. Not long ago, he couldn't even get a job because he was max chaotic. Han now resolves to give a perfect performance. He will do everything in his power to complete whatever scenario or quest the system throws at him on his journey to becoming a monk. 2 weeks later, Han is wandering through the forest, and the elders around him destroy any enemy or animal in an instant. Han has already reached level 13, which is an insane speed, considering others take years to reach that level. He has a skill called Heaven-Breaking Ghost Art, which requires at least level 4. This means the real game begins at level Pori. He thinks about the elders, and it seems to him like a company that is using item leveling and Skyval lackeys in full swing. Then he sees the criminal in the bag. He looks at the head of the coin and wonders what to do with it. In the real world, Han opens his computer and searches for the best place to sell expensive items. A message advises him to sell it in Olympus. Many people agree, but Han remembers that because he's a max Ketic, he can't use it in public institutions. Furthermore, the game's currency is gold, which can't be traded in the real world, and there's the risk of personal information being leaked. Just then, his sister arrives with a bright smile. Han thinks she came at the perfect time. She asks if he wants pocket money. Han shyly declines and asks what she would do if he gave her the criminal's head. She's confused at first, then starts laughing. She jokingly says that if he really has the head, he should buy a burger, and Han acts casually, saying he'll do it 50-50. His sister is still confused as to why he's so serious. Jar reminds her that Gate Rock is literally level-headed. She can't believe Han could kill him, especially since she's heard that Han can't go anywhere because of his city training. He can't. But Han says he escaped just a few days ago, and honestly, he's already killed the criminal. His sister is completely shocked. She reminds him that the criminal was level 44. So how did he manage to kill him? Han laughs embarrassedly and says that the criminal died the moment he hit him, because his own estimated level is 99. He reminds his sister that he sent her a screenshot 10 years ago. She remembers that her brother had described himself as level 99. Back then, she thought he was. Her brother is struggling so much that he's now pranking her in the present. She smiles shyly and says she thought the photo was edited. Han doesn't care whether she believes it or not. He simply orders her to come to the Chintenia Mountains if she wants the criminal's head. He'll send her the exact coordinates as soon as she logs in. She wonders why she has to come all the way to Random Forest. Then Han reveals that he's Max Ketic. Her face turns pale upon hearing this. In the game, her sister arrives at the West Gate and tells the guard that there's some work in the mountains. The guards try to stop her, saying she'll die instantly at the hands of monsters. She laughs shyly and ignores their advice. The guards continue to stop her, but she waves her hand and heads towards the forest. After walking for 3 hours in the dense forest, everything seems much quieter to her. She remembers that her brother had said he'd already eliminated all the mobs and monsters. She looks around and realizes that not only monsters, but all living organisms are missing. Suddenly, Han appears right behind her. Jia screams in fear. She's shocked at how he managed to sneak up behind her without making a sound. She also feels an insanely dense aura emanating from her brother. Now she's convinced he wasn't lying. He really is Max Ketic. She asks if he killed any NPCs, but Han ignores the question and hands her a bag containing the criminal's head and a bounty of 100 million gold. She can't believe it and thinks she's dreaming. 100. Seeing the million reward in her hand, she's convinced it's true. She immediately asks how he did it and calls him amazing. Han just wants her to hurry up and exchange it. He jokes that he'll kill her if she runs off with the head. His sister deposits the head at the Adventurers Guild, and a staff member confirms it's the head of the wanted criminal, Gate Rock. The quest is cleared. 100 million gold is paid out. She begins to think that if she gets even half the money, she could eat her favorite hamburgers for the rest of her life. But she remembers how hard her brother has worked, and now it's paying off. She returns to the forest and gives him his share, only to find that she's giving him 99 million gold instead of 50 million. He thinks something's wrong, but then smiles and accepts that after 20 years of hellish training, he deserves it. He doesn't want to take his share but keeps 1 million in pocket money as thanks. She's willing to give him more, but she doesn't listen and runs away, saying she only saw him in the morning. He had taken time off. Now he has to go back. As she leaves, she says she'll give him Hamburg Street today and invites him to dinner with her parents. Han smiles and hopes he gets home safely. He checks out 99 million gold after exchange fees and taxes. In the real world, that's almost 8 million. Earning so much money on his first try is truly his life's quest. So he doesn't mind being Max Caddick. The SSS class quest hasn't even started yet, and he's already earned so much. Now he has 80 million collateral. When he completes the main quest, if he clears it, he doesn't know how insane the rewards will be. He wants to reach level 1 as soon as possible. To do this, he must grow faster. Every minute, every second counts. In the evening, Han meets his sister in the real world. Due to Max being a psychotic, he can't enter the game himself, so he asks her to buy items. She tries to refuse because she just returned from work, but Han promises that if everything goes well, he will give her a 30,001 allowance every month. She agrees, but says to focus on the 5,000 forest tea. They make a deal, and Sai immediately returns to the game. A few hours later, completely exhausted, Han tries on the new clothes and items his sister bought. These are equipment that increases the experience earning rate. But the biggest problem is that everything he bought cost a total of 70 million won. For the first time in his life, he had earned money with his own hands. His sister doesn't care what he does. She just wants her share because she's run so many errands for him. Then he's not going to live up to her expectations. She turns the tables. She says 3 million gold is required for the first destination and 3,000 gold for each destination after that. Han gathers himself again. He decides to take on whatever scenario or quest the system throws at him with all his might. On his way to becoming monarch, he must do what's necessary. He calls the elders and tells them to move on and just focus on leveling up. The next day, Has arrives in the mountains. He's minding his own business when a man in full armor sees him and wonders who that is. He notices he can't understand why he doesn't just delete his character and quit. Finally, the old man says he's taught him everything, and now he can die without regrets. Anakli becomes filial son. He hopes that a quest will trigger when the NPC dies. Indeed, it does. The old man gives him the location related to his fate, releases a terrifying aura, and dies. Thus, Han finally completes his 20-year nightmare training. Now, reset to the present and level 1, he successfully enters the beginner's village. Han steps into Urkis. The system warns that some external force is trying to lock his body. Han honestly feels Jax, but the squad tailing him from behind is alarmed by how he's shrugging off their magic traps. One says it might be Medj. Yet, looking at his gear, they think he's absolute crap and probably died so many times that he's lost everything. Archer knocks Arrow out, and the leader yells at everyone to shut up. He orders one to keep him busy so he can't warp or blink, while he and the assistant manager kill. Let's proceed. Just before the attack, Han turns around. His gaze is so cold it freezes the blood. He gives them one last chance to run, but they call it a bluff, and the leader charges with full force. He casually asks what their level is. The massive hammer hits him and bounces off like a collision with steel. The manager tries a sword slash, but that doesn't stop him. Archer's arrows fly. The team sinks, but everyone is left in panic because his health bar doesn't even budge. Khan guesses that the massive sword, he's probably level 40, like a late 20 build. Archer continues to analyze him. He's certain Han isn't wearing solid armor or casting any spells. He thinks some hidden magic is already active. He signals that he's ready. The leader starts sweating in fear. Han, however, stands bold. He thinks their attacks are like toddler slaps. Fed up, he prepares for a counterattack. With his skills sealed, he takes a basic fighting stance. Archer thinks he'll cast a powerful spell and send everyone reeling. He yells at them to stay put, but Han has already punched the director in the face, sending him to dreamland. The system tells him his crime stat is rising again. The hammer-wielding knight charges in rage, but Han knocks him out with one punch, and his crime stat rises even further. Archer and the support crew stand there like idiots. They realize they didn't even get a chance to apply buffs. The leader and manager yell that everyone should run for their lives because this fight is way out of their league. Archer, he also begins to retreat. He realizes that they have messed with a monster that is no average mech. But before he can escape, Han suddenly appears right behind him. Like a ghost, Archer's mind hangs in confusion as to how he moved so quickly. Han shows his teeth and gives a dangerous grin, reminding him that he chose the fight and now he is running away like a coward. Archer suddenly realizes that Han had saved the blink skill all this time to tease him. Only one type of player can make such a move. A high-level melee-focused battle wizard, above level 16, like Hunter Rufandhal. Han beat them so hard that by the end, he himself had reached level 16. After pounding them all to the ground, he spares their lives. The system immediately notifies him that his loyalty to the elders has increased due to his mercy. He unlocks a new skill called Charisma. He doesn't know what Charisma does, but the name is fancy, so he doesn't think much of it. Suddenly, Luxo appears behind him and says he needs to show him something. He hopes he'll obey, like 7 days of torture. After a long journey, Han finally arrives at Skyville hideout. Half dead with hunger and fatigue, he curses himself, wondering why this place is so far away. He remembers how he got there. One moment he was chilling. The next, an elder pulled him in, opening a portal in the middle of the desert and spouting some adventurers call him nonsense. He thought walking would earn him step-up points. But he hadn't thought he'd have to walk for a whole week. When the elder tells him the village is ahead, hope rises in Han's heart. He silently asks for food, but just as he gazes at the filthy, half-collapsed village, his heart sinks. He thinks his master has probably screwed this place up. The locals look like walking corpses from starvation, yet he immediately falls to his knees, calling him absolute ruler and savior. The system gives him a quest, to save this village on the brink of collapse. He smiles weakly, looking as if he might collapse from hunger. An ancient old man, Prophet Carl, who is 133 years old, comes forward and reveals that he raised 12 elders here, hiding them from the empire. They continued searching for the absolute ruler's descendant. The problem was that this area was a wasteland. There were no monsters, no animals, no farming. Han found this all foolish. He wondered why supplies weren't brought in from outside. The old man said, "That's impossible." Han understood that his first task was to save everyone from starvation. He promised the villagers that he would sacrifice everything to keep them alive. The system showed that morale and loyalty were rising rapidly. He told Luxo to come along, saying the other elders would take care of the situation. Luxo agreed without complaint. He nods, and the two set off. Han orders him to handle any monsters he encounters along the way and collect any loot or valuable stones that drop. He thinks this quest is probably going to be quite easy. A week has passed since Han and Luxo disappeared in the mountains. Luxo feels quite satisfied that his lord prepared everything in time. He shrugs as if it were obvious. Time was short, so he started with the easiest things. He sits on a large rock, looking at a pile of bags. They were filled with who knows what. Just a few days ago, Han's sister had received a message from him. He had asked her for a favor. He asked her to get a magic pocket and arrange enough porridge for 800 people and bring it to the mountains. She was almost shocked after reading the message. She kept wondering why porridge was needed for 800 people. Han had already set the food plan through her. When she reached the mountains, her mind was still screaming, wondering what her brother was doing. Han threw her a blue stone as payment. She was completely, It turns out to be a stunt. Her mind starts to wander, thinking it might be funded by a big sponsor or a secret group. But Han bluntly tells her, no sponsor, just sell it and keep 10%. Her face turns completely pale. Still, she convinces herself it's just luck. It's impossible for her brother to do all this alone. Han also tells her to use the money from selling the stone to buy 3 wrapped portals on her way back. His plan is to build a road connecting the mountain directly to Sky Devil Hideout and Sky Devil Village. The journey that used to take a whole week will be much shorter. Han calls it flawless. However, his heart almost cries when he splurges on 3 wraps at once. Meanwhile, in the village, 12th Elder Ida is thinking that Han has left them all behind, left them to rot. Ida thinks that now this boy is just hoping to return and subjugate everyone, just in the name of being the successor. Yes, First Elder Luxo is ready to die for him without a second thought, but Ida knows that not all elders are like that. If Han has saved the village's lives, if anyone even slightly tricks him or tells a lie, Ida will find every excuse to destroy him. Finally, Han returns. The villagers go crazy. They shout that the absolute ruler has returned with a lot of goods. Ida comes out and his eyes widen at the pile of porridge. Han grunts and says that he wanted to give them milk and honey too, but oily food can be dangerous after hunger. So let's just eat porridge for now. Okay. The villagers breathe a sigh of relief and start chanting slogans in praise of the absolute great ruler. His reputation soars further. Everyone begins to think there's nothing this man can't do. Han silently grins. He sends one of the elders with Luxo to distribute food and goes inside himself. He knows that food isn't enough. Clothing and shelter are also needed. But right now, food and defense are priorities. Just then, there's a knock on the door. Ida enters and falls to her knees, apologizing for her lack of loyalty. Han calms her down. He says there are still limits. He wasn't wrong to doubt her. Now, he wants Ida to trust him. In return, he promises to repay that trust tenfold. Hearing this, Ida cries even louder, and Han is officially recognized as the 12th Elder. But deep down, Han thinks, this man is a complete fool. Meanwhile, Han has reached level 19 and has accumulated a significant amount of step-up points. He plans to go somewhere and test his newfound power. He remembers Luxo's warning that it's important to keep a low profile so as not to arouse the Empire's suspicions. The other elders had said the same thing. Yet, he thinks Erda would be the perfect partner as her stealth skills are top tier. While walking in the mountains, they come across a wild bear. Han pauses for a moment. He hasn't seen a bear like this before. Maybe it's a joint bear or something. Erda draws his sword, but Han stops him. He remembers that joint bears are usually around level 40. Normally, a squad of 5 or 6 people is required, but he's the kind of man who can handle an entire squad single-handedly. So he decides to solo the bear as well. The bear sees him and charges Han. He leaps up and lands with a powerful punch. He knocks Bear out with a single blow. He calls it easy money. He gets 20,000 gold and a few XP points. Ada, who had been watching silently, begins to trust him more. Looking at the wreckage of Bear, Han wonders if Bear was being pathetic or if he himself has become too strong. Whatever the case, he orders Ada to proceed. Now it's time to go to the Antium dungeon. A few days later, they reach the dungeon gate. Ada senses several presences inside. He nods. He remembers. The Antium dungeon is located in the Village of Beginnings, a low-tier dungeon near Urkus. The difficulty is decent, and clearing it rewards step-up points. That's why Academy students and Great Union instructors grind here. Hansmark does. The memory of taking down Joint Bear in one hit makes him laugh. He wonders how strong these Great Union instructors really are against him. He tells Ida to stay behind him in stealth. In the dungeon safe zone, a student says this is his second run, and he's just finished. He's also getting bricked. Talking to his friend, he says, just this time, let's get clear. Then, they both spot Han. Panic grips the infamous Maxiotic and he runs to find his instructor, silently praying he'll save him. Just then, a smug Bastet appears. He stares at Han like he's some fearless idiot. Han had noticed something earlier while killing monsters. When he kills them himself, there's no loot drop. He opens the stat window and sees his luck stat is stuck at -99 luck, which means the drop rate is also completely tanking. He feels like the universe is playing tricks on him. He wishes he could have killed one of the elders with the final blow. Just then, an instructor comes and asks what he's doing there. Khan remembers his sister's warning that Great Union instructors are often above level 40. It seems she was absolutely right. People really like to spread these agents. The instructor questions again. Han asks him why he thinks he has the right to talk like that. The instructor laughs. He says that he's just like that. He's seen a lot of people. If he leaves now, he'll let him go. The instructor looks at his stats. Level 19, low quality gear, and assumes he's trash, probably killing students and selling their loot. He's confused by these strange accusations. He wants to de-escalate the situation because there are kids around. He tells the instructor to chill, saying he's just here to clear the dungeon. But the instructor refuses. He snorts, saying he understands his plan. Just then, the system warns that the safe zone is about to end. Instructor, he orders the students to hide behind him. Everyone realizes it's the instructor from the Great Union. Han gets irritated and says he didn't come to start. The instructor dismisses him as a bluffing loser. Han then says he didn't come to mess with the students like some scumbag. He clearly says he just wants to clear the dungeon. But then the system announces that the safe zone is over, and the instructor draws his sword. Advancing with killing intent, he calls him an agent. Han's patience runs out. He warns him one last time. But the instructor lunges with all his might. His sword pierces through Han. Yet, he stands motionless. The instructor's eyes widen. He thinks it might be some strange magic trick. Han gives him a death glare and asks, "Is that all?" Fear grips the instructor. He realizes the person in front of him is no ordinary newbie. Panicked, the instructor tries to call for backup, thinking this level 19 psychotic freak is using a hidden skill. Han reminds him that he already said he didn't want trouble and that this is his final warning. He had also given it to him. Now completely fed up, he counters and punches the instructor hard in the stomach. The instructor is shocked. He sheathes his blade and retaliates with his bare hands. He is about to call for help when suddenly a blast of bright light engulfs the entire area. Han destroys him in that one move. The students stand huddled together, checking to see if anyone is still alive. Han stares at them as if asking if they want to fight too. Everyone nods their heads vigorously. Han smirks and says he believes this is the right thing to do. He then advises them to do their quests properly and become decent people. After a while, he begins to reflect on his actions. He didn't want to harm the children. Looking ahead, he sees a defensive fort surrounded by skeleton soldiers holding weapons. He realizes this is the middle fort of the dungeon. Remembering the guidebook, he knows he needs to break it before proceeding further. There's no loot anyway, so he doesn't waste time on the skeletons. Their murderous gaze. Ignoring this, he runs straight towards the fortress. The system constantly shouts warnings about how angry the monsters are and how much damage he will inflict. Han doesn't care. He thinks maybe 10 punches will be enough. But with just one punch, the entire fortress collapses like wet cardboard. He's a little disappointed. Was this fortress supposed to be so weak? Still, he's happy that the task has been made easy. Without stopping, he moves on. After a while, the instructors called by the frightened students arrive and they see that the fortress has already been destroyed. It's incomprehensible to them that a level 19 player could have done this. They stand there dumbfounded, thinking perhaps he has an ultra-rare item. Just then, the system announces that the dungeon has been cleared. Everyone's mouth drops open, calling it impossible. Inside the dungeon, Han wonders why there are skeleton soldiers everywhere. For a normal level 19 player, This place would be a nightmare, but not for him. He reaches the final stage. Ignoring the skeletons, he lunges forward and attacks with full force. He does it. He secretly hopes it doesn't break in one hit. But unfortunately, the final stage shield crumbles immediately. He frowns. What a useless shield. He knows the instructors could arrive at any time, so he quickly finishes it. The system congratulates him on clearing the dungeon. Hans doesn't. He thinks it was just a pathetic low-level dungeon. He spends the points he earned and finally reaches level 20. Now he's ready to go to the field of darkness. He thinks the instructors will definitely come after him. But the strange thing is, no one has come yet. He guesses they're probably camped near the dungeon entrance. Stepping outside, his eyes widen. An entire army of instructors stands before him, more than he had imagined. One of them shouts for the leader of the enemy forces to come forward. Han looks around blankly, wondering if he's standing alone. So who are these people yelling at? He asks the elder standing nearby if he accidentally turned off stealth. The elder denies it. Just then, an instructor appears. He tells Han that he understands what Han wants and hopes there won't be a pointless fight today. His logical approach is to ease the tension. But this irritates Han, who was in the mood to confront the instructor. Seeing them behave like this makes him feel strange. He understands that if a real fight breaks out, some students will definitely die, and frankly, killing powerless children is not his cup of tea. The instructor says he'll let him go this time, assuming Han wouldn't want to throw his life away. Han agrees and says he understands. He hadn't planned on fighting anyway, and reminds them that he had told the previous instructor not to provoke them. Without wasting a moment, he walks straight through them. His priority now is to reach the field of darkness so he can hunt the players later. The instructor breathes a sigh of relief. His partner is also silently thankful that the matter was resolved without any casualties. Instructor Jurgel brushes it off lightly. He already knew that the instructor who confronted Han was responsible for this. Some innocent students were killed. Han cleared the dungeon with insane speed, perhaps to show everyone that he had hidden support. Jurgel knows there are a lot of children here, and it's his responsibility to protect them, so he thought it best to send him away without provoking him. Meanwhile, another instructor stares at him, wondering who this madman is. One thing is certain, Han Maxley is chaotic. There's even a suspicion that he might be Ruftel. Everyone knows Ruftel is supposedly level 50, but maybe he cheated and used his real level. The level is hidden. Elsewhere, Ruff Andal himself is slaughtering several players simultaneously with the death knell. He laughs coldly. He taunts them to wipe their backs before they die, and to log out of the game if they want to keep dying. He's a total Maxwell chaotic and is only here for the loot. He finds farming items from dead players extremely profitable. Then he remembers that someone has been hunting him lately, even though he's never met them. People are saying that someone is impersonating him everywhere. He thinks someone, Wombi Max Chaotic, is imitating him. He heard that Poser caused a big scene in the Amantium dungeon. If this continues, the Great Union might throw him out. And provoking the Great Union means inviting death. So he decides to find the feather before things get worse. Meanwhile, in Skywall Village, Han returns and tells the elders that the next area will be filled with floating monsters. One of the elders specializes in long-range magic. Luxo immediately understands who he's talking about. An elder raises his hand proudly. He says he's confident in long-range spells. Han decides he'll go with him today. The elder nods with a sinister grin. Then Han remembers his sister's birthday is approaching. Maybe he should be a good brother this time. He decides he'll grind extra today so he can get her a birthday gift, and eventually, an apartment. Arriving at the Field of Darkness, he sees players everywhere. The system warns that monsters will respawn soon. Han smiles. He asks Zeta if he's ready. Zeta is a complete psycho bastard. He emerges. He begins shouting that he will obey his master's every command. Break bones, skin them, burn every piece of trash in his path with hellfire, and rip out the limbs of anyone who stands in his way. Han is a little confused as to why this old man is so fired up. He finds this back alley vibe quite freaky. Some players nearby notice that he's a maxotic. One of them thinks this is his chance to become famous, and his friend agrees. Han orders the elder to kill these fools before reinforcements arrive. Clear out and capture all the monsters, especially the blue storms. In the field of darkness, every player is focused on killing Max Kedic first. Han knows he can do it later, so he asks Zeta why he even needed to bring him along. Then he orders him to demonstrate his long-range magic right away. The crazy old man nods. He swears he'll never disappoint his master. He raises his hands to the sky, silently wishing his master a bright future. Suddenly, the sky fills with blinding purple light. Zeta summons the god of evil and commands it to crush all who stand in the master's path. Players flee in terror, screaming in terror. Zeta coldly commands the massive creature to crush everyone without mercy. He praises Halder's performance and decides he must now demonstrate his skills. His killer's mark deepens, and his sins become more visible. Word of his deeds spreads across the continent. The system announces he is told that he has earned the title of Saint of Murder. Seeing this, Han himself is a little shocked. After a certain limit, Max Kedic players are tagged as murderers. When such murderers PvP against players with the hero title, their attack and defense drop drastically. Upon death, the resurrection cooldown becomes 240 hours and the item drop chance on the next awakening is fixed at 100%. Looking at the end system window, he wonders if the notoriety counter will increase further. He shrugs. He thinks he'll see later. His charisma stat increases, and Sky also has loyalty. The humans are currently dealing with the Elder, so he decides to clear this place completely first. As the battlefield calms down, Zeta gives a wistful grin. Just then, Han senses something in the distance. The system alerts. Chaos inbound. Bull has entered the scene. Suddenly, bull monsters come stomping towards him. Han remains unperturbed. He knows Zeta will handle everything. The Elder really turns the whole thing into a slaughterhouse. Han himself throws punches. He hopes that some bull survives a hit. But every time, instant deletion, it's done. He earns 18,000 gold for every kill. Seeing his gold increase, he keeps fighting, while Zeta collects loot and stones. Together, they fight like a cracked duo. Two players standing at a distance whisper that these two are insane. One says, "Average dungeon farming." The other laughs. The sword guy is not average at all. He must be a close combat mage. They're talking about Zeta. They don't know he has an attack skill. They assume he's at least level 50. Just then, Zeta jumps into the air, shouts Master Key J, and purple attacks vaporize the entire monster pack. Han thinks it's an overkill, but the system detects pink. Level up. He tells Zeta to gather stones, and Zeta immediately gets to work. He pockets 7 blue stones. This is hyped by how insanely fast the farming is going. Just then, a boss monster spawns. He thinks he should quickly eliminate it and disappear. Two players standing at a distance recognize it as the Chaos Bull King, a huge bull with a humanoid body. Han is seeing such a freak for the first time. He tells Zeta to look at him as a small monster. He orders the monsters to be cleared and the drops collected. While observing the Chaos Bull King, he observes it. It appears to be much beefier than normal field bosses. He expects it to drop at least 20 blue stones. Deep down, he wishes the boss would survive a direct hit so that Zeta can land the final blow. But then Zeta points out some strong presences that are rapidly approaching. Han realizes there's no time to finish off the boss before they arrive. He decides it's best to leave and orders Zeta to retreat. He mutters angrily. This humiliation burns him to the core. He hates feeling so weak, but he vows to restore Sky Devil's glory to the entire continent. Tears well up in his eyes as he runs, thinking of the lost blue stones. Two observers behind him watch them go in confusion. Back in the room, he checks the game notice board to see if a monster patch has been announced, but finds nothing. He wonders why Black Chaos Bull arrived first when he was officially. It hadn't even been released. Perhaps his cursed 999 luck is acting up again. He doesn't understand whether it's an omen or a death flag. He regrets why he didn't just punch the Black Bull straight away. Then a post appears. The hunting grounds difficulty has suddenly jumped to level 97. Someone writes that the Museum dungeon turned into hell today. Black Skull soldiers have suddenly spawned. Someone talks about a joint black bear ambush. Han realizes this is the same place he recently visited. Scrolling through, he finds more posts. Some dark. He talks about a new black monster in the desert. He immediately realizes it's the same beast. The post says that the max player who killed Chaos Cow ran away when the Black Chaos Bull King appeared. Later, high-level players arrived. They killed the boss, and 3 bundles dropped, each containing about 30 blue stones. In the comments, everyone was calling it insane loot. Han's face turns pale after reading this. He curses himself. He thinks they earned a lot of blue stones. Tears stream down his cheeks like an idiot who has lost his life. Morning. He counts his earnings today. 11 blue stones and 5.5 million gold. That's enough to feed him for 3 days. About 36 million gold. After exchange fees, taxes, and his sister's share, he's left with only 15 million gold. Not even enough to buy a decent birthday present. Looking at his specs, he grumbles that after all this hard work, he should have a house and a car. But because of his low level, high-tier areas are locked, and penalties render most skills unusable. The truth is clear. Now, the only way is to grind like crazy. Elsewhere, in an office, a man finishes a report. He reports that ability levels have suddenly increased exponentially. A shadowy figure sitting in a chair asks about the Black Chaos Bull. He confirms that the monster's strength has increased abnormally. The figure leans back. Realizing this is not a normal monster, he orders the hunting operations to continue and manpower to be increased. Users are disposable. This cold-eyed man is UN Director Yang Wacken. The informant is about to leave when Director Master Kyoto players. He mentions the one who wreaked havoc in the desert. His face hardens. This is the one who has been troubling the Alliance for years. 3 weeks later, the system shows that Han's level has increased again. With a stern face, he thinks he has finally reached level 29. Luxo comes and expresses concern that 3 weeks of non-stop marching might break his body. The old man's concern touches him, but he brushes it off. Despite so many restrictions, he will not admit weakness. He vows to show his people the full brilliance of this world and promises Luxo. He believes that one day everyone will bow to Sky Devil. Stopping isn't an option. He must keep moving forward day and night so that Luxo doesn't have to worry. He just has to support her. Hearing this, Luxo's eyes fill with tears. He bows his head like a fool and swears that he will support her until his body breaks. Han's real motivation is clear: to own an apartment, a sleek sports car, and an entire building. He gives a sinister smile. Just then, a direct message arrives. He thinks it's from his sister. She asks if she's received this quest too, because it's been popping up everywhere lately.
Yes.
Han frowns. Upon reading it, he realizes it's connected to the 7th constellation. A quest appears in the system window. The challenge is to become the 7 constellations. He aims to annihilate a group of evil and become the constellation that protects the peace of the continent. He wonders who this evil group is, and if it's pointing to him. He opens his PC and checks the forums. The entire server is in chaos. Everyone is talking about this quest. His sister also looks at it and says it's a complete mess. Hans agrees. He doesn't have a clear idea of the hidden class. But if it's connected to the main story, the power gained will be beyond imagination. Seiya asks if he'll challenge the 7 constellations. He laughs. No NPC will even give him a quest if Max is a Ketic. He asks her if she'll try. She says she doesn't have time. It's union work. and such quests are for rankers or foreign players. Ha thinks maybe she's right. He thinks the difficulty of the hunting grounds has increased, and this quest is probably moving the story forward by treating him and Skyval as absolute evil. In the worst case, all the constellations will come after him together. He wanted to live peacefully, but if he doesn't do anything, trouble is certain. So he decides to become strong at any cost. As soon as he logs into Olympus, he tells the elders that this time he will travel alone. All three are shocked and start shouting that it is very dangerous. Han explains that the Empire is watching their movements, so caution is necessary. The elders cry and ask him to go carefully. He asks them to guard the village and calls them his precious idiots. Getting Ida's recognition so quickly was luck, but he still needs 4 more elders. The food problem has been somewhat resolved. Now it's time for shelter. But money is scarce. So now there's only one way. Level grind like crazy, reach level 40, unlock the heaven-shattering ghost art, and progress through the map of quests left by the master. Only then will everything be solved. He knows that his poor luck makes it impossible to get good drops like blue stones. But for now, he's the only one he can do. He encounters some black wild bears and wonders what the future holds. To prepare, he'll level up by killing like crazy. As soon as everyone charges at him, he instantly eliminates them. Then a system notification comes. He gets a skill called Unordinary Powerful Fist. At first, he thinks, what nonsense is this? Maybe it'll help with hunting. Upon closer inspection, he realizes that this skill reduces his own power and allows monsters to survive. It's a bad skill. Still, he's ecstatic because he can now farm items. Now he can get others to deliver last hits. Maybe someone will buy Pete and get him one last hit because his luck is running out. But just as he's about to return home, someone sneaks up behind him and says they finally found him. Hans realizes it's the man who was looking for him. He turns around and remembers something similar has happened before. The man standing in front of him asks if he has any idea how much trouble he's gotten into because of him. It's Lupendel Max, the criminal who's being framed because of him, and no one believes him. Lupendel curses the bastards of the Great Union. It's clear he's come to kill him to repair his reputation. Khan stares at him blankly. He can only feel his thick, nasty, evil aura. Lupendel is stunned. He wonders if he's teasing him or if he really doesn't recognize him. He asks if he still has any human conscience left in him. He hopes it's an act, but it's clear he's truly clueless. Han just smirks and calls Lupendel amusing. This infuriates Lupendel. Anger flashes in his eyes. He shouts that he is Lupendel, the same name he's imitating. He will capture him and hand him over to the Great Union and explain how deeply troubled he is. Lupendel wants Han to fall at his feet and beg, but seeing Han's indifferent face, he decides that this idiot must be punished. Lupendel assumes Han must be trembling with fear and hopes he will surrender quietly. But Han shrugs and says, "Let's not waste time. Let's start the fight." Lupendel tells him, "Lunatic says." He says he didn't want to get rough with another Max Chaotic, but screw it. He charges in with all his might. He hopes Han doesn't die on the first hit so he can beat him down. Han takes the blow to the chest, and his HP drops to barely 3%. He's disappointed. This is the criminal everyone worships. Level 50 is above 40. Still, it's disappointing. He activates a newly unlocked skill and takes a fighting stance. Using the skill, he reduces his damage by 90%. He does this so that he doesn't accidentally kill Lupendel in one hit. Meanwhile, Lupendel thinks that this is some crazy person activating a high-level skill. If his guess is correct, then this is the same Basted who took down the Great Union Director in one hit. Such a skill is extremely dangerous. The charge time is long and the risk is huge. Lupendel is lost in these thoughts when Han suddenly blurs in front of him. He closes the distance and grabs his throat. He throws a punch and immediately retreats. He wonders to himself whether the blow landed properly or not. Lupendel laughs and says that Han It was a moment too late because he had erected a barrier in time. Han clucks his tongue. He thinks with mild disappointment that he didn't land a clean hit, but now he knows Lupendel can take more. He increases his damage by 34%. Lupendel understands that he is just talking randomly for the cooldown. Normally, when the next skill is ready, no one talks without reason. Normally, people fire skills immediately. Lupendel feels that the opponent is completely open, so he charges like a mad animal. The next moment, Han's fist hits Lupendel's face so hard that he falls flying backwards. System alerts flash, showing that every barrier and shield Lupendel has instantly shuttered upon impact. Lupendel somehow manages to stay on his feet. Now he realizes this was even more cunning than he thought. The first punch was just a test. The real one was the second. Still, Han doesn't seem satisfied. It means something didn't go according to plan. Lupendel curses to himself. Blink is such a pain. If only he had unlocked the Eye of the Mind at level 55. Lupendel unleashes all his aura. Dark energy spreads across the area. He decides that his next move will be the end of everything. He will finish him right here, right now, capture him alive, and take him to the Union. Han, watching him, remembers that Lupendel has a final trump card. Perhaps it was called Heart Attack. Judging by his stance, it's clear that's the skill. But Han also has a plan. He deactivates his damage dampening skill to unleash his full power. Lupendel thinks he's completely out of options now. There's nothing left to do. Yelling, he charges again. Han also moves forward. As soon as the collision happens, it's tremendous. The shockwave tears apart the entire area. As the smoke clears, Han's face is blank. Rufindel stands there, surprised that he's still upright. He was confident the heart attack spell would be the end of it all. He asks himself, what kind of freak is this? Han, on the other hand, looks at Rufindel's corpse with mild disappointment, irritated that he's actually dead. Rufindel's fading thoughts think that maybe Han has some secret martial arts class. While he thinks Rufindel is just acting dead, Han thinks that one hit took out all his defensive abilities. It was divided. The most notorious of these was Centenia, whose absolute ruler was Gracia Mentos. He had 14 wives. His 7th wife bore a son, who later fathered another son. This story continued from generation to generation. Seeing the elders bowing their heads before him, Hans realizes he cannot skip it. To do so would be disrespectful, so he continues reading. He learns about Chera, the supreme ruler of that era, who gradually rose to power. Chera had taken devil's blood and became the most powerful, and all his gear broke in the middle of the attack, so the drop didn't happen. Those must be the fragments scattered earlier. Hearing this, Ruff and Doll's soul metaphorically spits blood. Those items were more valuable to him than mountains of gold. He shrugs. How can the loot drop if everything is broken? He assumes he's ready for level 50 zombies. After victory, he prepares to leave, thinking better hunting grounds will open up. In a massive jump, he disappears. While Ruftel's spirit sobs, Ruftel vows revenge. Han's smug face breaks. He activates Soul Bind for instant revive and tries to return to his body. But then a hooded stranger appears. He calls him Prime Ingredient. His face is hidden beneath the hood. He mutters, "Today we've found a top-tier corpse." It's a lucky day. Rufidal's soul trembles. Who is this? He raises his hand and snatches her soul. He says it would have been better if he had found Han's soul, but this will do. The chilling power spreads, and Rufidal and Doll are transformed into corpse puppets. The system tells him that he, permanently bound until he escapes. The hooded man smirks and orders him to do 10 push-ups. Ruff Andel's pride flares. He wonders why he would do such a thing. But the soul bind activates. Electricity surges through his entire being, and he compulsively begins to do push-ups. The cloaked man laughs and warns that if he doesn't follow orders, he'll suffer even more pain. Ruff Andel's mind races. He's never heard of soul bind. It must be some hidden class. Perhaps the necromancer, he thinks, from his voice. The man is quite young. The rogue stranger teases him by calling him pathetic. Roof and Doll think they can use this man if they play him right. With a forced grin, he calls him master and refers to the other. His eyes sparkle with cunning as he offers to help capture Han. Meanwhile, in the real world, Han takes his sister to MC Donald's. Her eyes light up at the sight of burgers. Exactly what she's been craving. She shyly suggests maybe she could get 2 or 3. Han grins like an idiot. Burgers. He stares at Han like a kid in a candy store. Then he wolfs them down. He thinks feeding the Scarvilles was hell, but feeding his sister burgers is breeze. He lets her eat comfortably. She looks at him. She wonders why he's so sweet today. Earlier, he used to scold her for ordering more than 1 burger. She asks if it's because he's making money now. Han is confused. He doesn't remember the scalding incident. He coughs and says he needs a favor. She guesses he's getting something bought again. He wishes his luck had been absolute lately. Not only monsters, but drops too, because he's a max cat. Some NPCs are willing to help, but using them properly is difficult. It's impossible to stomach. Then he stops and asks what she thinks about starting an entire foundation with him. She nearly spits out her drink. Staring at him, she asks if he's serious. Who does that these days? Han explains that it's not the kind of foundation she's thinking. She warns him that solid info or funds. Without him, the Great Union will take everything away. Especially with black monsters popping up everywhere. The market is crashing. She reminds him that his promotion is coming. Don't worry about home or money, but jumping in without thinking is foolish. Khan nods. He listens to her. Still wants to make an offer. She takes a deep breath and asks what his plan is. Meanwhile, in the union meeting room, Director Grimm reports. People are dying in the dark wilderness. He mentions Max Caddick, who said that it's not possible without being provoked. He will kill. The union leader interrupts. He says they've announced the release of itemless Max Caddicks, but the director suspects the person in the video isn't Ruftel. He shows footage of Han and his fight, taken a few days ago. The direct PvP duel leader praises him. The director says Ruftel went on the offensive after his defense spells were broken, which was strange. Analysis reveals that Han is an insanely high-level close combat martial artist, but he looks very young, possibly of a hidden class, and lacks complete control. The director explains that he's from the nobles. The step-up quest was also received. The leader frowns at the picture. It doesn't match the one in the video. The system has labeled Max Caddick as a Ramthadian. The leader shrugs. Stable points are all that count. The director says 30 people will be enough. The weakest staff will be sent first as meat shields. Those who die will receive a sun and 10,001 payout, and top contributors will receive a 30,001 bonus. A woman asks if that's enough for risking their lives. The pain is real even if you die on Olympus. The director assures them that he'll earn step-up points, and based on his loyalty, he'll be able to use his full strength. He smugly says that you should grind while you're young. The leader laughs. He says 3,000 is enough. Guy has a total gold bounty of 700 million, of which the director will pocket 200 million. The leader gives the go-ahead. He just wants his wallet to be fat. The meeting ends with a twisted smile. Lapania finally finds her brother in the mountains. He sees her and asks, "Did you bring everything?" She denies it, but is doubtful. This is starter magic. There are manuals. Spells weaker than rookies. What's the point of learning mid-job change? With such insane stats, he should have taken classes long ago. Han says, in the hands of a sword master, even a blade of grass becomes a deadly weapon. Seiya is shocked. With god-tier stats, even a basic attack becomes a kill move. Han absorbs beginner books in minutes. Seiya remembers. She hasn't changed jobs yet. She panics. Unemployed with so much power, she says she trusted him and left her guild job. Now everything is at stake. Han is genuinely grateful. He wants to rebuild with Han Nam. Han experiments and casts beginner heal on Seiya. She rolls her eyes. What will level 1 magic do? Han asks her to wait. Her wounds fill up as soon as the heal is applied. She still talks about the potion. Han asks to see the HP bar. Fully full. Seiya stunts. Han also gives her attack and defense buffs. She looks around. Fight who? Han points behind her. Seiya turns and trembles. A hulking black bear, not a magic beast, but a real roaring bear terror. She is hooked. She thinks is he asking her to do solo where a full party is supposed to. After 3 minutes somehow that bear falls down. Seiya laughs and trembles. Insane, but badass Han smirks. Now convinced, Seiya agrees. Especially when she gets a blue stone from Bear which is worth 5 million won. Han reminds her that if she gives it to the Union, she will get only 10,000 more won. The loot in freelancing is all theirs. He says that he will push her to level 45 in Field of Darkness. Seiya is ready. Both of them leave. Their Han walks carefree, and the stampede of monsters. She kisses him. Seiya chants spells. Han becomes Bet, and Seiya blasts a charging Chaos Cow with lightning bolt. He casually praises her. Just then, a rain of blue stones begins to fall on the battlefield. A total of 18 stones are collected, and Seiya nearly screams with joy at the thought of selling them for 90 million won. She jokingly says that with that much money, she could open her own burger joint. Khan looks around and notices that the place is much emptier than usual. He thinks the crowd might be due to the black monster spawn. The crowd has reduced because earlier there used to be a crowd here. Just then 2 players ambush from behind. They have come to take down Max Chaotic for Bunty. Khan deliberately blocks the power and punches one of them away so that Seiya can take the last hit and collect the loot. Seiya kills the enemy and while picking up the item, asks if this will be considered a straight robbery. He laughs and says don't worry, everyone considers him a bottom-tier Max Chaotic. No one will mess with him unnecessarily, and if they do, he will crush them without hesitation. He points ahead. An entire army is marching towards them. Seiya sees a high-level man, probably around level 58, leading an entire squad. She realizes they've come to raid her. She panics and tries to run, but the system coldly announces that they can't leave the area without defeating the hostile players. Han tells her to stay calm and take a few steps back. Han gives a twisted smile, looking at the dozens of enemies, and warns them that if they don't attack, he'll let them go alive. Army Leader Executive. Director Jin draws his sword and gives the order. The majors chant a binding spell, but Han instantly breaks it and throws a fireball. Jin scoffs. Thinking it's basic magic, he tells the tankers to raise their shields. He assumes the enemy is a melee fighter. Fireballs won't do anything. The ranged fighters spray combos. Everyone craves 3 million won bounties. Just then, a massive explosion shakes the entire field. Jin barely survives. Coughing, he watches as his entire army lies lifeless. Jin can't understand why. How did his army get wiped out with standard magic, while the enemy didn't even flinch? He begins to doubt it. Could it be a trick? Seiya mutters that he's never seen Fireball do so much damage. Han admits he didn't know either. He says he's free from the bindings. He was just talking to her and waiting for the fireball to cool down. He chuckles darkly, like an unhinged villain. Seiya looks at him stunned. Now she understands her brother is no ordinary person. Jin panics, and Han lazily takes a break, thinking how annoying the 1-minute cooldown is. Executive Director. He orders his long-range units to stand ready and wait for the signal. He's deeply confused. He begins to believe Han isn't a martial artist, but a cunning mage. Just then, a Union leader in another part of the city receives an urgent call from Jin. Jin panics and asks for backup. Jin says he's already there. He explains that Han isn't a martial artist, so he needs tankers above level 30 who can withstand magic. The Union leader, shocked, asks what's going on. Jin says he's already sent 3 men. They're lost. Luckily, Han is currently trapped by a trap spell, and the cooldown is holding him back, but it's essential to finish quickly. Otherwise, he'll wipe out the entire squad. The Union leader admits the intel was useless, but it doesn't matter much. He thinks Han is simply smarter than expected. He tells Jin to hold on. Reinforcements are coming. The manpower increase is worth it, even if the price has to be shared later. On the battlefield, Jin prepares the archers for a barrage. In his mind, Han is still locked in, so he draws foolish conclusions. He realizes Han is the wizard. He orders everyone to open fire. Han gives a wicked grin. He fires his Relian guns. The third wave rains down arrows. The entire area lights up in a massive explosion. Jin orders a non-stop attack. He thinks the plan is working perfectly. He doesn't care what class it is. He just needs to keep pressing. Just then Han moves like lightning and cuts down a guard. Jin is stunned. Han should have been in a trap, but now he's moving like a mad animal. He announces that his cooldown is over and starts raining fireballs. Soldiers fall one by one. Jin yells for them to stop, but Han reminds them that he had already told them to run. He unhingedly makes a mass. An attempt is made to retreat, but Jin orders them to hold the line. Just then, the Union leader appears from behind. He praises Jin and says he will take charge. The Union leader explains that the quest is now officially shared and reinforcements have been mobilized. There are 200 men, so losing is out of the question. Khan Meanvale notes that his HP hasn't even fluctuated. All this in front of Ruff and Doll. They're trash. He laughs. He thinks 200 people is a cakewalk. His sister is watching from the sidelines, nervous. Han tells her to attack too, so she doesn't seem suspicious. She's confused. She asks him to use lightning. Han says go for it. She uses lightning on her brother. A system notification pops up. The system announces that Han has unlocked a completely new special class, and his murderer's mark is deepened. In Mech's chaos state, he knew this would happen someday, but not so suddenly. The system transforms him into the heavenly murderous constellation. He gives it. As his crimes spread across the continent, his power spikes. His eyes blaze like a wild animal's. The title window opens. Born with pure murderous energy, the most fearsome murderer. The benefits are tremendous, but the tag of worst murderer seems a bit much. He sighs. He realizes he's embarked on the path of absolute evil. As he slaughters soldiers, he sees that with each crime, Skywill's loyalty grows. A new effect. Hero-type enemies. It would be extremely useful against the enemy. Even with all this thought, his hands remain unstoppable. Meanwhile, the soldiers are at a loss to determine whether he's a martial artist or a wizard. They have no idea what kind of monster they're fighting. Hans sneers and casually says he doesn't even have a class yet. Hearing this sends shivers down everyone's spine. What is this all about? The executive director asks President Jiang about his next move. Jiang realizes the situation has become extremely delicate. He believes Han is hiding his class to exploit his weakness. It can't happen because every class has some fatal flaw. He asks Jin to come with him and shouts at Han that he will find his weakness and eliminate it. But Han effortlessly tears them both apart and says there is no such thing as weakness for him. Standing among the corpses, he straightens his back. Then something becomes clear. His real weakness is that he doesn't have a proper area of effect attack. He does size. He thinks he will have to quickly level grind and get one. His sister suggests experiments. He raises an eyebrow. She explains, maybe she's triggered a special class quest. The two go into the dungeon. She applies buffs and fires a lightning bolt that actually reduces his HP. For the first time, he feels real pain. A fully buffed attack is almost as painful as Rough Andal's last blow. Yet, her Regan speed is so insane that dying seems almost impossible. She keeps raining spells down. After an hour of continuous attacks, when he's really close to death, she falls from the exhaust. System revealed true identity, heavenly murderous constellation. He's so tired. He is so exhausted that he can't even react. He thinks this must be part of the quest chain. Monsters start coming near him. He clears them and tells his sister to wait there. The system starts throwing random notifications. He casually cuts the skeletons, then decides to go deeper into the dungeon. He asks her to message him and leaves. The system notifies that Heavenly Murderer's constellation has left. His sister's body starts glowing after the secret last quest is completed. She transforms into the 7th constellation right there. Han stands there wondering what just happened. Elsewhere, his sister has completely transformed into her new form. The system is constantly applying buffs. She's stunted by the sudden upgrade. In the real world, inside the Union conference room, President Effort Giver thanks everyone and declares himself the Alliance leader. He signs off. He apologizes for calling an offline meeting and gets straight to the point. Their alliance is currently in deep trouble. It turns out that the Max Zodic raid quest failed miserably due to an unexpected info blackout. Because of this, several trading companies turned their backs on the alliance, and the entire alliance was shaken. A decision was made to expel some members. People in the hall erupted in angry whispers, cursing Max Chaotic, the man who had caused all this. They thought the leader was going crazy under pressure. But then he himself began to grin. Everything was unfolding exactly as he had planned. He apologized properly this time and said the quest would be put in the shed. He didn't know when it would be cleared, but upon completion, everyone would receive step-up points. He agreed. For now, this promise will keep everyone quiet, but he hopes the next meeting will be under better circumstances and the alliance will be stronger. There's always a long queue of people wanting to join, so he's not worried about removing members. The real priority is to patch up relationships with trading companies. Reclining in a massage chair, he decides to log into Olympus. He thinks that if he had died with his subordinates then, this drama wouldn't have happened. Rebuilding Ruin's reputation is a big deal, but killing him is the only way to save the alliance, regardless of the cost. Why not spend the stolen billions with the board directors? Entering Olympus, he thinks this amount is enough to put a price on Khan's head. As soon as he enters the game, he goes to the tavern. The worker greets him politely. The old man passes a photo and says that there is an assassination request for Murder Whale. The worker raises his eyebrows after seeing the photo. The target is tough but shrugs and says that he will handle the murder well. On asking for payment, the old man without hesitation gives 1 billion up front. The worker says that 3 days will be enough. The old man knows Murder Whale and the Black Floral Group are the Empire's top assassination syndicates. Max Katic Punk won't escape now. Spending billions in 1 day feels like a gut-wrenching ordeal, but he consoles himself with the hope that it will return sevenfold once Khan dies. Stepping out of the safety zone into an open field, he thinks he only has to wait 3 days. But as he enters the forest, someone slashes his neck cleanly. Instant death. As he dies, he realizes he's been assassinated, but his mind can't process it because he hadn't sensed anything. The system notifies him that he will remain in a solitary state until he logs out. Floating like a ghost, he looks back. A masked man leaves a slip of paper bearing the Black Floral Group's insignia on the ground. The old man can't understand why he's after him. The masked man says this is just the beginning and that he received orders to slaughter. Meanwhile, at Murder Whale headquarters, a man reports that he's handed the job over to the Black Floral Group. The leader assumes the target must be worm food by now. Smirking, he thinks, now is the time to take action. The subordinate says they could handle the old man themselves, but the leader stands up. His terrifying aura grips the entire room. He tells him to shut up and follow orders, or else he'll die. The red-headed leader, founder and ruler of the Murder Whales, declares that he will handle this contract himself. He's been ruling for 30 years. He's faced countless dangers, but the ultimate evil he's been waiting for hasn't fully materialized yet. He senses that someone must be. Restrictions are holding her back, but that's her own problem. This man, Second Elder Yorhan, wants to decide for himself whether Han truly deserves to be called absolute ruler. Han, meanwhile, is stunned when he learns that his sister has already reached level 30. She grins and explains that her levels have been increasing like crazy since her class change. Now she's a 7th constellation pure white mage and has also reached level 31. Han points out that she has 0 step-up points, but she shrugs. She says she doesn't need it anymore because she's become a constellation. She thinks to herself that maybe this is why people go crazy over class upgrades. It's truly insane. Still, she thanks Han because she knows it was all thanks to him. Han is stunned. He thinks maybe she just attacked him once and the class switched. If that's the case, he must truly be pure evil. His sister says she wants to go hunting with him sometime. He realizes that if all 7 constellations are free, if you can level up by burning up points like this, then in the long run he's screwed. He just wanted to eat well and chill. But at this rate, it doesn't seem impossible for his sister to reach level 99. He makes her wear cognitive impairment gear so she can talk to Whisper and not have her identity leak through chat. She politely asks if she can keep attacking him sometimes. Just then the system notifies that she's officially a platinum-ranked hero. I understand if she's just chipping away at his HP and reaching platinum. This will attract a lot of attention. He tells her to keep attacking. Just don't kill him and let it go easy. She beams with joy. Miss Chivas jokes with grin that she wishes she could finish him one day because killing him has increased her levels like crazy. Dark Gleam asks if she can kill him. Han reminds her that he's her brother. She laughs and says it's just a game and they'll split the spoils as usual. Han says that if he ever has to die, he'd want her to finish him off. Hearing this, his sister is almost overjoyed. She leaves. Han agrees out of curiosity, but deep down he wonders why she's so excited to kill him. He doesn't overthink it and is relieved to see her happiness after becoming Constellation. A few days pass, and she drops another Blackbeard like a fly. The two clear the dungeon without breaking a sweat. She picks up rare drops, and Han tells her to safely stash them. Han opens the stat window. He thinks he'll level up now, but his experience is just a little low. He's standing on the edge. He decides he'll kill a few more monsters while his sister goes to get potions and supplies. He tells her to be careful and not to drop any loot. She waves and leaves, saying she'll be back soon. Hans thinks it'll take him 10 minutes, and if he gets enough kills in the meantime, he'll reach the next level. Suddenly, he feels a crushing aura. A voice resounds. Absolute ruler of the Sky Devil. Irhan materializes behind him and puts a blade to his neck. He introduces himself as Second Elder Irhan and says it's his time. It's over. This is a test. Is he worthy of the absolute ruler or not? If he fails, he'll die here, and Murder Whale will immediately issue a kill order. The system pings. New quest. Second Elder Irhan's ambush quest difficulty. SSS alerts begin to sound. They indicate that Irhan ranks first among the 12 Skyval Elders in stealth and ambush skills. Han's task is to defeat Second Elder Irhan Han and earn his recognition. A final warning comes. If he fails to convince the absolute ruler, he'll be in dire straits. He'll go. He thinks that technically, this return of the absolute ruler is a side quest within the main story. Yet, it's rated SSS. His own sister became a constellation just by punching him. So, it's quite possible that he's the main villain in this entire scenario. If all the constellations don't need step-up points, their growth is going to be insane. Some might even surpass level 90. Worst case scenario, if he has to face all the constellations solo, the system will throw SSS++ quests at him in the name of balance. He looks at Irhan. He tells him to get his weapon ready. Han laughs inwardly. Irhan knows perfectly well that he doesn't have any weapons. He wonders why he needs to prove himself to this man. If Irhan really wanted to kill him, he wouldn't be talking so much. It's clear that he also wants the Sky Devil back. Han Kamali says that he's currently under special restrictions, and they're about to be lifted. Irhan puts away his knife. Han calls himself weak, pathetically weak. He says that's why the restrictions are taking so long to be lifted. But if he waits a little longer, he will definitely become the absolute ruler. He has no doubt. He asks Yoren, won't such a hasty decision lead to regret in the future? Yoren falls silent. Han understands. He's already swayed by his words. Han makes a final move. He says that soon he will have complete control of the heaven-shattering ghost art left by his master. Just 10 minutes. Yoren's face changes. He repeats the name and asks if he's serious. Han confidently says that he's here right now. He'll prove it. Iran goes into stealth mode to confirm and gives him a full 10 minutes. The system pops up. 10 minutes remaining. He takes a deep breath. There's only a little experience left. He has to kill a few monsters. That's all. As he steps out of the tunnel, reality crashes down on him. There are no monsters anywhere. Normally, he'd find a bear or a skeleton here. Tears well up in his eyes. When he needs it most, the universe leaves him empty-handed. The system shows him 30 seconds left. He's almost devastated. He thinks maybe it would have been better to fight Eren. But he remembers that Eren almost killed him in an instant. The timer is 20 seconds. Panic-stricken, his mind races, but no excuse will work. Then suddenly his sister appears. He yells at him to get away, but she, confused, runs towards him with a full monster stampede. She explains that she's gathered all the monsters at the cost of her life. Han is stunned at first, then laughs maniacally. He sprints past her, shouting, "Run away first. I'll reward you later." He leaps among the monsters. He slaughters them. Bodies fall. The system spams. Just before the timer hits 0, Han hits level polys. He doesn't waste a moment, reaching level 40. Just then, the second elder materializes behind him and casually says, "Don't get left behind." The system window glows with golden light. Requirements. Clear heaven-shattering ghost art unlocked. Golden radiance erupts from his body. His grip on Sky Devil tightens. Physical skin. Despite the specs, he feels a clear edge. He mutters that it was too close. But now Yorhen has no excuse to complain. The title of Murderous Consolation is completely sealed. Just then, the system announces absolute evil born. A flood of savage energy erupts. The second elder freezes. The truth has been revealed. He really is absolute evil. Yorhen laughs lightly. He says he knew this day would come, but the officialization of the name is strangely sickening. Han opens the status. Absolute evil confirmed. Abilities key. It would have been a flood. Heaven shattering could have started and pushed further. The system would have spammed notifications like crazy. Yorhen falls to his knees. He bows his head and apologizes. Hanner says with a wry smile, well, he doubts that too. Deep down, he's been scheming. Now his next target is clear. Murder, well. Yorhen swears his loyalty. The quest is clear. Hanner knows there's only one elder left. He tells Yan he trusts her. Just then, his sister starts spamming messages. He immediately asks if everything is okay. She says, focus. What? See the announcements? News has spread. The absolute evil-born community is in meltdown. Everyone wants to know who the absolute evil is, so the quests can be easier. She says if he does an absolute killer hunt with her, he can wipe his max Katic. Is awkward. She's talking about that. He casually mentions that his stats have gone above 100. She's stunned. She gives a blank stare. Even a single point increase is considered impossible. She decides he must have done something random again. She congratulates, but doesn't process. She's able to. Her heart races so hard that she logs out of Olympus. She goes to the real world to catch her breath. Han thinks she can't handle it this time either. How can she tell him about being absolute evil? He'll leave it at that. First, he needs the SSS quest reward. He asks Yan to continue. He prays in his heart that he gets the entire murder whale as a reward. Just then, Yan begins his report. Suddenly, intruders appear, revealing the power and status of the murder whale. The second elder immediately disappears into stealth. Han licks his tongue in irritation. Important. A squad of soldiers advances amidst the conversation. Their leader shouts, "Whoever kills Remedian will receive a hefty reward." Hans cowers. That name again. He wonders, why are they calling me Remedian? He exhales deeply, thinking, these fools never tire of repeating the same thing over and over again. A knight on horseback ahead realizes Han is alone, so he shouts orders to his soldiers to attack Ao Bar, to charge in the name of the honor of the Bavarian Order. Han cuts off the wave of soldiers coming from the front. He watches. NPCs usually suffer after the heaven-shattering ghost art is activated, but seeing these guys, he internally squeals. This is his first clash with a knight, but honestly, it turns out to be a bottom tier one. The fight ends so quickly that he feels underwhelmed. The commander's mind short-circuits. He curses. He thinks, well, Han must have wiped out the entire order. But how can he survive? In a frenzy, he lunges. He grabs Han's throat, but his grip is blocked. Han laughs. Impressed, he thinks this idiot probably has a decent weapon. The commander assumes Han must be exhausted by now. Han simply shrugs and smashes his head in with one punch. The system pops up. Wicked Count of Bavaria eliminated. Han mutters, this heaven-shattering ghost art is cracked. Even after so much movement, the energy is almost unused. After taking out all the soldiers, he thinks it's time to hear the reward. He pulls the second elder out and asks him to speak. Just then, a voice from behind asks him to give his strength. She praises him. Han gets irritated. Now who? He roars, come forward. A robed man steps out. Han asks, who is it? Have you come to kill him? It must be some bounty hunter. The robed man laughs. No, not a hunter. He has come to kill him and make him his slave. Then he takes out the roof-end doll like a puppet. Han immediately recognizes the man he killed. He doesn't even register his face properly. Professor Dolly squeals irritably. He believes he's trapped this time. The robed man says with a sheepish grin, yes, he will be his slave now. He's quality cops. He expresses happiness on meeting him. Then he casts Rise. All the soldiers who had just died, including Vic Count, get back up. Hans understands that there is killing intent in the eyes of the necromancer undead. This is not a normal undead. Ego and memories are intact. Even the stats are not being read properly. Perhaps even stronger than before. Vic Count calls the robbed man master and swears loyalty, bound by a soul contract. Han understands that this necromancer's skill is something busted. Vic Count has to destroy him. Convinced that now Han has no chance. Only then all the undead, they freeze. Han raises an eyebrow. The system explains. As absolute evil, he has insane authority over black magic entities. Heaven-shattering ghosts start resisting his control. The robed man begins to sweat. He shouts orders, but no one listens. The combined effect allows Han to hijack control of the undead. He himself is momentarily shocked. Now he will do whatever it says. Irritated, he simply says, die again. Rufandel realizes he's about to die a second time, while the necromancer screams, don't listen to Han. Listen up. Han Wicket confirms with a grin. Rufandel is now under his command. He casually orders, start doing jumping jacks. Rufandel tries to resist, but purple lightning strikes.